real victims of abuse and trauma. Why is this government more focused on protecting the charter rights of pedophiles rather than defending the dignity of children?
Honorable Secretary of State for Combating Crime.
Mr. Speaker, plain and simple, child abusers should face the toughest penalties under Canadian law. Mr. Speaker, we are bringing forward legislation that is going to protect children. I hope the Conservatives can support it because their past record is that they haven't supported the online harms legislation. They haven't supported lawful access tools for law enforcement so we can catch child predators. They put politics before the safety of our children.
Honorable member for Haldimand, Norfolk.
The sexual exploitation of children is one of the clearest and most horrific crimes imaginable. Recently, the Supreme Court struck down the one-year mandatory sentence for possessing child sexual abuse material. Yet this government refuses to use Section 33 of the Charter, the notwithstanding clause, to restore the minimal penalties for pedophiles. Why is this government choosing to protect the charter rights of predators over the safety and the innocence of our children?
Honorable Secretary of State for Combating Crime.
Mr. Speaker, like I've said before, child predators are the worst criminals in our country, and they should face the toughest sentences. Mr. Speaker, that is exactly why we're bringing forward new legislation, so that we can toughen sentences and make sure
When? Where? What legislation are you talking about? Do you even know what the fuck you're talking about?
And they will support C-19 that is currently before this House because they have not supported us in the past when it comes to helping children.
No, it's you morons that have been supporting you, dumb fuck.
Again, through the chair, please. The honorable member for Cumberland, Colchester.
Mr. Speaker, Budget 2025 is a
She's a
generational
beast.
investment in our economy, in our industries, and in Canadians. Canadians are paying lower prices for cellular services, a 40% decline in prices over 5 years. But these bills still eat into the pockets of Canadians. Budget 2025 has proposed measures to lower costs for Canadians and to improve competition. At a time when Canadians are concerned with rising costs and keeping their monthly bills affordable, can the Minister of Industry tell us how the government is working to lower cell phone bills?
Honorable Ministre de l'Industrie.
The Honourable Minister of Industry.
To thank my colleague from Cumberland, Colchester, for her important question. She and I are laser focused, and this government laser focused on making sure that we bring down costs in the telecom sector, because we took the right decision this summer to uphold the decision of the CRTC to increase competition.
Yeah, that was just pretty tack going past.
We would be hawkish on competition, so we will do more in this
Pretty
budget
tack.
to increase competition and make sure that we reform.
Pretty tight, good kitty. Pretty tight, handsome kitty. And back to some question period highlights.
The cost of this Liberal budget will drive up the cost of food, housing, and everything else Canadians buy. The young families, seniors, and veterans in Edmonton Northwest are having to make hard choices as the snow falls. It's costing more to heat their homes and feed their families. But every day in this House, the Liberals say families are just imagining higher living expenses by their taxes and increased spending. So why is the Prime Minister breaking his promise to spend less and pouring more inflationary fuel on the fire?
The Honorable Secretary of State for Defense Procurement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Budget 2025 will enable Canada to step up to meet the moment, to include $82 billion for defense and security. And here's a fun fact, Mr. Speaker. Stephen Harper's 2009 budget, adjusted for inflation, is actually the biggest deficit budget in Canadian history, with little to show for it. We'll take no lessons from the Conservatives.
The honorable member for Kitchener South, Heffler.
Adjusted for the inflation that they caused, Mr. Speaker, the Liberals' new budget is generationally expensive. It is historically expensive. Every dollar the Prime Minister spends will come out of Canadians' pockets. The more they spend, the more things will cost. Either through taxes or inflation in the future, the cost will come. $80 billion is $2,000 for each man, woman, and child in our country. That's $2,000 for my 3-year-old daughter and $2,000 for my 1-year-old son. Why should they have to pay this generational debt the Prime Minister is saddling us with? Why is the Prime Minister breaking his promise to spend less?
Honourable Minister of Crown and Indigenous Relations.
This budget invests in lowering the cost of living and creating jobs, including $2 billion for the Critical Minerals Sovereign Fund. Critical minerals are in our phones, computers, solar panels, medical equipment, and more. Canada is rich in minerals, with projects in ridings held by Conservatives, Bloc Québécois, NDP, and Liberals, including in my home, the Northwest Territories. These investments mean good jobs, including in Ontario, stronger communities, and keeps Canada a leader in technology, defense, and healthcare. The Mining Association of Canada has applauded the budget, and I hope members opposite will too.
The Honourable Member for Elmwood Transcona.
Mr. Speaker, this government is the most expensive in Canadian history. Every dollar this Prime Minister spends comes out of the pockets of Canadians. The more they spend, the more things cost. Nearly $80 billion in deficit spending. That means $450 a month coming right out of Canadians' pockets. This will make it even harder for Canadians to buy groceries and pay their bills. Instead, we get a bloated bureaucracy and high-priced consultants. Why does this Prime Minister believe he can spend hard-working Canadians' money better than they can?
Honourable Minister for Northern and Arctic Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, we're focused on securing our sovereignty in the North and the Arctic with a $1 billion infrastructure fund for airports, seaports, all-season roads in North and in northern Manitoba. We're focused on a $2.3
I know, right?
billion
She looks like one, doesn't she?
for, Indigenous communities. They're voting against an Inuit Nunangat University to build.
I see a 2-bit whore.
Youth. We are focused on building, protecting, and empowering Canadians. They need to get on board.
The Honourable Member for Honoré Mercier.
Mr. Speaker, residents in my riding have expressed concern about the cost of living. Budget 2025 is full of great initiatives that will empower them. And Canadians across the country.
Shut him down.
Clearly, there are many in this House who would like to hear the member from the top.
Mr. Speaker, my colleagues are very excited to hear me today. Budget 2025 is full of great initiatives that will empower them and Canadians across the country to get better financially. Increasing competition is one way to achieve a
Eric St. Poo-Poo Head.
2025, there are several pro-affordability measures related to making the financial sector more competitive. Can the Secretary of State for the
Blah,
CRA
blah, blah. Shut the fuck up.
inform this House about how the government is making life more affordable for Canadians by reforming the financial sector?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Financial Institutions.
Mr. Speaker, I thank my colleague for that important question. In our generational budget, Canada's new government is making life more affordable for Canadians by making our financial system more competitive and innovative.
Bullshit.
Among other things we are providing Canadians with more financial options.
No, you're not.
Unions and smaller banks grow and compete. Advancing open banking, which will make it easier for Canadians to find lower fee checking accounts, cheaper loans, and higher interest savings. On this side of the House, we're laser focused on making life more affordable for Canadians.
No, you're not. When are you gonna...
It's a waste of blood or guts.
Pay for the Liberals' inflationary deficit. But the Liberals sure aren't sacrificing much, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, an Ottawa gossip rag feted the Liberals for attending a lavish deficit cocktail party hosted by rich Ottawa insiders, lobbyists, and media firms who are thrilled with the billions of tax dollars for their wealthy clients and owners. Will the Liberals apologize for popping champagne corks with rich lobbyists to celebrate a massive inflationary deficit while Canadians can't even afford a case of beer?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Rural Development.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Canada wants the investment that this budget affords all Canada needs, and we're going to stand in support of rural Canada, Mr. Speaker. And in Saskatchewan, I'm going to tell our MPs, the Conservative MPs, Saskatchewan is watching.
Let's just back it up a second. Like if we back it up a second, we're gonna see Buckley be as drunk as he looks. Like Belanger is a total trash troll, a mess. I don't care if you think like Inuit had it rough or whatever. Like this guy is a troll, a drunk bastard in the House comes. Like it's nuts. Watch him.
Yeah, I agree with you, Aaron.
Drunk.
Saskatchewan is watching. All we're asking you guys to do was what you've been doing for the last 10 years on the budget vote. Sit this one out so that Saskatchewan can finally get help from the province to reach its full potential.
The Honourable Member for Vancouver East.
There was much hype about this budget. Much has already been made public in the pre-budget announcement. My question is what is not in the budget. The impact of the 15% cut across most departments, including the loss of 40,000 workers, is buried in buzzwords like streamlining, modernizing, and recalibrating. Will the Prime Minister tell Canadians what programs are being cut, which ones will end when the funding sunsets, and how people in our communities will be impacted? Canadians deserve to know.
Hear, hear.
The Minister des Finances.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank my colleague for the very important question that she asked. I think she will have seen in the budget that we ran true to
Psycho
our values,
Chihuahua.
Canadian values. We make sure that while we do a budget which is focused on the future and investment, that we protect people.
That your bark's is worse than your bite, Psycho Chihuahua boy.
Because we understand on this side of the house that affordability and supporting Canadians at a time like this is essential. But at the same time, we're going to build a great future, Mr. Speaker. We're going to take care of Canadians today because we believe in Canada.
No, you don't, you liar.
It's increasingly clear that this government's budget fails to deliver the transformational change promised and fails to meet the moment. It fails to provide any relief right now for the millions of Canadians suffering through an affordability crisis. 60% are having trouble meeting their monthly expenses. Half are using credit cards or borrowing money for daily needs, paying interest rates of 19% or more. Why did the Liberals fail to provide concrete measures to help the millions of Canadians who need help now?